Hello, my name is Carlos Talbot, HYCU sales engineer. Today we're going to talk about simplifying application resilience, leveraging APIs to help automate processes for DevOps teams within their cloud journey. And we'll follow up at the end here with a demo of our solution and how it integrates for DevOps teams testing and development. So when we think about HYCU, we were founded on the notion that there's a better, more effective way to protect your mission critical data. And we built HYCU Protege for that purpose. It's a software as a service platform unifies data protection for both hybrid and multi-cloud environments. Whether you're protecting data on-prem or in the cloud, whether your journey is to do migrate and lift and shift workloads on-prem into the cloud, and vice versa, we help with that process. And we'll talk about some of the common pitfalls that people run into when they migrate into the cloud and protect those resources online. The first one being, I already have backup. My native cloud provider has a backup solution. Moving to cloud automatically protects my data. That's not true. No cloud vendor provides backups by default. You have to invest in a dedicated backup solution. Most likely, typically because they do have snapshots, but it's all scripted based. There is no automated policy. There's typically no grand recovery. Snapshots can be expensive over time as well. They grow as they consume more storage. With HYCU, you have the ability to also send your backups to low-cost storage, whether it's hot, cool, object storage, or even archive storage. And it can be immutable as well to protect against ransomware incidents. So another thing is, a lot of customers see that, I have a legacy, I have an on-prem backup solution that why do I need HYCU? Those legacy vendors, they try to shoehorn their solution into the cloud, which wasn't really architected for that, really meant for our on-prem environments. Or even accepting the on-prem mindset versus data protection as a service. This is a true backup as a service solution. There is no software to maintain in the cloud versions for AWS, for Google, for Azure. Software is managed for you. There's no upgrade or any of that. You typically see when you're dealing with on-prem environments. So at the end of the day, it's zero deployment, maintenance, and config. The other misconception is not utilizing the power of the platform versus public cloud. Because when you move to the cloud, you should be able to leverage the elasticity of the cloud, right? So why have a backup solution that does not size accordingly with your workload demands? So by eliminating infrastructure planning and sizing, you don't have to configure workers or anything like that. Whether you're backing up a dozen VMs or thousands of VMs, it sizes up accordingly. It also enables DevOps-style environments. You can inherit all your clouds multi-tenancy, integrating with the identity access management within the cloud and projects. And as I'll show you shortly here with a demo, we can easily back up and protect those environments. And all done through a single pane of glass, whether we're talking about Amazon, Azure, or Google with GCE, GKE, GCS, or even GCVE, all done under one single pane of glass. And relying on snapshot management tools is a common thing versus comprehensive backup solutions. As I mentioned, a lot of native backup products for the cloud are designed just for snapshots. When you can leverage cost-effective storage like object storage for cold or archive tier, it saves the customer a lot of money, and it also allows you to make it ransomware proof, being able to create air gap solutions that are immutable as well, and doing very, very simple recovery, either whether you're covering the entire VM or a single file, the ability is there as well. Number 5, not taking proper care of your applications versus application-focused solutions. With HYCU, it's purpose-built and designed to provide application system backups, whether we're talking about databases like SAP HANA or even custom applications using pre-built scripts or even integrating natively with GKE protection. Struggling with operational efficiencies. At the end of the day, intuitive end user experience. That really is beneficial for a lot of customers. Ease of use. There is no learning curve. It also relieves admins from manual tasks because you can help automate the solution for them. And peace of mind for backup failures because you have alerts from compliance issues, whether or not you're making those RPOs, and RTO requirements within your policies. And finally, not planning for the future versus cross-cloud mobility. Being able to do accelerate your dev test environments, easily clone VMs, disk containers, and apps across multiple projects. Being able to leverage that within your DevOps teams, within an API and automation tool is key. Or even to be able to do one-click cross-regional DR, simple and easy with a simple UI. Very cost-efficient backups of on-prem as well. And then being able to migrate those workloads, as I mentioned, as a lift and shift into the cloud. So in summary, how does HYCU help you solve it? When you look at agentless application data consistent protection, we do not require any agents for on-prem VMs, physical servers, or even cloud VMs, and still provide application recovery at a granular database or even transaction log level. Be able to protect on-prem workloads as well as cloud, be able to do lift and shift and disaster recovery. If you lose a site, you want to be able to recover your data natively into AWS, for example. We can help with that. And obviously, public cloud protection, being able to do multi-cloud support. If you're migrating from one hyperscaler to another, that's fully supported as well. Okay, so let's look at HYCU's interface for DevOps automation. In this example, we're looking at our HYCU for Google Cloud solution for managing and automating backups of GCE, GKE, utilizing our RESTful API. As a matter of fact, all our solutions for HYCU for on-prem, HYCU for Google, AWS, and Azure all offer a RESTful API. And this screen right here, we can look at a Swagger interface into that. So any command available within the UI that you want to use to manage your policies, update them by adding additional servers, or even firing off a backup, they're all cataloged here within the Swagger interface. So you can look at the example under backups. There's a post option there for triggering a backup of a particular VM within a project or all the VMs in that project. And one of the examples I have here is a script that I put together a while ago. And in fact, there's a blog post associated with the script. So let's look at that example here. And I actually have the URL up on the page here if you want to reference it. But this essentially will allow you to back up one or more VMs within a project or every VM within a project. A good use case would be if you have a certain incident or disaster, you want to make sure you have the most recent copy of all your VMs running inside your Google project. It'll trigger that snapshot with its one use of this script. So it comes in handy in those kind of emergencies that you need that kind of an example. So when you first run the script, you'll see this is an example up top here where we're backing up just one VM, and we're utilizing our Google keys as our authentication. So you'll see that's one of the first parameters that gets passed. The next one is the VM name. So in this example, we're talking about the finance accounts payable virtual machine, and then the last parameter is V for verbose, so that when we run the script, we actually see the actions and process as it goes through the list of VMs in the production within the protection set, and then when it finds the one it needs to back up, it triggers that backup. And we can see below here the example within the HYCU controller interface when there's an actual backup in progress. Now this example is just utilizing one of the virtual machines, but let's say we had an example we want to back up all the VMs inside a protection set. So the next page here gives that example, and you can see the script and the way it was executed up top here. In this example, we're only passing the authentication key and the verbosity flag, and then the last one is A for all. So we're not specifying a particular VM here, but we're saying back up all the VMs in all the production sets. So you can see now multiple backups have been triggered here as all the VMs are currently being protected by a quick snapshot. So the script is very useful for demonstrating the capabilities of our RESTful API, and then being able to leverage this within DevOps teams for automating your processes when it comes to lifecycle management of your resources within the clouds. So let's have a look at our demo environment here and actually run to those scripts to show you the power of the RESTful API interface. You can see here I'm logged in currently inside my Google HYCU for Google instances. You can see all the various ones across the various projects and what the various zones and policies. If I go into my drop down here, there's an option for RESTful API Explorer. Every HYCU solution has that option, including our on-prem solution. So I can go in here and open this up, and it essentially provides a Swagger interface into our abilities within the API calls that we can make for DevOps testing. You can see that I could use this to manage my reporting structure in my environment. You can see there's various commands to get information as well as to make changes via post or even to remove data using delete. But one that we're going to focus on is the backup URL. And this essentially will allow us then to submit a backup job for one or more VMs. Now, in order to leverage this, it does require authorization using that key I mentioned before. So having the key on is critical for authorizing and getting the ability to actually generate this command. But this is what will be leveraged as an example within the script that we wrote here. So if I go back into my my Visual Studio editor, this is the script that was referenced in the blog post that we talked about earlier that will go through the process of backing up one or more VMs. And so let's go and run through this here as an example and show you how it impacts the the HYCU instance here, because actually you'll see the various tasks running as soon as we fire it off. So I'll go ahead and start the first VM backup. So let's go ahead and back up just one VM. This is the finance accounts payable. I'm going to turn on verbose so it actually will scroll through the multiple VMs that it's going to be looking through. So it's going to find every instance inside the project, and when it finds the one it needs to back up, and you can see already it's created an action up here, it's backing that up. And there's that code, HP code response code of 200. That's a good sign. We're actually backing it up. If I click on refresh here, we'll see that that's currently pending and starting. It usually takes a few minutes to back up that one VM. It's not that large, but it gives you an idea of all the various steps it's doing. It's going to create a snapshot of it. Optionally, it might also back it up to object storage as well. You have all flexibility in how the policies are designed within the solution here. So while that's running, we can also do the same thing for our multiple VMs. So let's go and try running this script again. But this time I'm going to specify, instead of passing the VM parameter, we're going to say, I want to back up all my resources inside my projects. So go ahead and fire that off here. It authenticates with Google, but you can see now it's triggering backups for every VM that has a policy associated with it, and it gives me the response code for every single one. And as you can see in the background here, it's going to make the system a little busy here. Soon enough, we'll have over a dozen VMs running their snapshots and or their backups. So as you can see here, it's a pretty handy script to have. It gives you an example of leveraging automation within DevOps environments for your cloud backups. So in summary, let's look at some of the differentiators for HYCU Protege for DevOps development here. It's a true data protection as a service solution. So there's no planning, installation, configuration, maintenance, and upgrades. There's no software that you have to upgrade. It's truly elastic, whether you're backing up a dozen VMs or thousands. The solution scales accordingly. So it is a true data protection as a service with a rich RESTful API interface for automating tasks. In this example we just went through, where we can fire off a backup of not just one VM, but dozens of VMs or the entire protection set. Truly an air gap backup because it's secure and cost efficient backups to immutable cloud storage inside Google or AWS or Azure, and helps protect against unauthorized access and malware. It is truly agentless. We can protect native instances inside GCP, AWS, Azure without the need of any agents, but still provide application consistency. So there's no need for upgrading agents within servers as traditional backup solutions have, because you're managing this all from a central console, single pane of glass. It is a cloud native solution, so it's not just using snapshots, which you traditionally see with most native data protection solutions for the hyperscalers, but it does inherit identity access management, so we can use not just snapshots, but orchestrate backups for longer term retention as well. It is a cloud scale architecture, as I mentioned, because it is truly elastic. Has dynamic scalability, so auto expand and auto shrinking without having to manage any workers within different regions. All this is truly handled seamlessly for you. And finally, one-click cloning in DR. Agent's ability to perform cross-project multi-regional workload mobility. Very easy to migrate resources across regions, being able to recover them with one click as well. So thank you for watching, and I hope this was helpful in your journey to automating processes within your DevOps environment. Make sure you sign up for a demo of HYCU Protege by scanning the code below here. Thank you.